What's up everyone, this is Brett at Start Your Skate Business, and in this video we're going to be going over how to price your private skate lessons. So I got a comment on a YouTube video that I created from a person named Corey Huffman 9036 commented, how do you charge for skate lessons, and do you do a per class or a monthly thing? All right, so we're going to unpack this. I'm going to just really focus on just the private one-on-one lessons and how you can build that out to some packages. And from there, you can do classes and monthly charges and whatnot. But right now, we're staying focused on just that private lesson. All right, so as always, I'm going to be looking at you and my computer where my notes are. In this video, it's going to be for the new instructors. And then also this video is for townships and municipalities that have skate parks, because there is a void of programming, skateboard programming at skate parks. And that's why there are a lot of individuals like myself and like you who can take advantage. And when I say you, I mean skateboarders can do skate lessons at these public skate parks. If you look at your local municipality, township, their recreational department or whatnot, they have baseball fields, soccer fields, basketball fields, and they're all filled up by structured programming. However, at the skate park, they dump your local government dumped a shit ton of money into it, and they got this cool skate park where people can come and go. However, there's really no structure as far as programming, and that is where I stepped in and started offering my services. And that's how I networked with many local governments from Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and even Maryland. I did programs in the past there. All right, so I'm getting sidetracked here. We're going to stay focused on pricing your skate lessons. So let's get into it. So I'm going to base this off of what I sell and my pricing structure, and then you're going to modify it to what fits you. All right, so my private lessons, they are $70. And my skate lessons, I know they're a little bit expensive, and that's okay because I really don't need everyone to come to my skate park to do lessons, because it might be too overwhelming and it might take away from people that are just going there to skateboard. So my lessons are a little bit more expensive for sure. Also, my overhead is expensive. My instructors are expensive. My insurance, having a building, all that stuff is expensive. I'm constantly upgrading and getting new supplies, new skateboards for people to borrow skateboards and pads and all this rental equipment that people can have. Safety mats, so when people are learning how to do things off stairs, they can land on a mat instead of the concrete. So there's all these upgrades that I've been doing over the years that I've accumulated, and that goes all into my $70 pricing fee. Now, for you starting out, if you're going to be doing a lesson at a skate park, a public skate park, I would say charge 30% lower than what I charge. So you're going to probably charge around $45 to $50. And I think that's a fair, reasonable price. You can do a little bit lower, and that will help you get more clients quickly. However, it could possibly lead to burnout, because with more people comes more booking. You're going to be doing a lot of booking, and that is pretty much overrated. That is like a whole job itself to book these private lessons. And if you don't have a booking system like I do, like I use WellnessLiving, then you can lead to burnout so fast. It's going to be crazy. You can also overbook yourself. When I started out, I triple booked myself multiple times. I triple booked myself for the same day and same hour, and 3 people came by, and I was like, oh my gosh, all right, group lesson. The parents were not happy on that, but luckily I made it work. But that doesn't happen anymore because obviously I'm a professional. All right, so now you got your private lesson charge, $45, $50. Like I said, you could charge a little lower, but again, if you charge lower, it might be harder to raise your price later. And if you do raise your price later, expect to lose maybe about 25% of your previous clientele, because they're not going to come back, maybe even 50%. That's what happened with me when my lessons were $25 when I started out, and I got better at my craft. I also realized that for $25 an hour, I couldn't even have another instructor teach it and me make a profit, or my company make a profit. So I had to increase the price. And when I did increase the price, I did lose, I want to say about 30% of my clientele that were doing private lessons. And that's okay, because they didn't value me or the effort that I was putting out. They didn't value all the stuff that I was bringing into the lessons, such as the skate trainers and the mats that I talked about. They didn't value all that. So that's okay. The people that I still grew, my company still made the same amount, and then it made more because of those people who weren't doing my lessons. So just be aware of that. Now, sometimes people want to do a private lesson and then they want to have another person. We call it a semi-private lesson, when 2 people are doing a lesson together. And we do charge a little bit more. I think I charge $30 more for each additional person. However, for you, I'm going to say $20. If you're starting out and you're doing a lesson for $45 with 2 people, if they have a brother or a friend, then charge $65. All right, so it's pretty easy of like that whole pricing structure. And then let's get into like the lesson packages, because I think this is really important, because doing the one-off lessons, that is really where you lead to burnout, just because it's just one person coming, they're not, and you're just booking things randomly. You might have a lesson on like 5 days of the week, some random days or something like that, or like times when it's conflicting with your other job or with your other responsibilities. And it's not worth it for you to leave your house just to go to the skate park for an hour to come back for, a few bucks. And then when you do that, the person that you're doing the lesson with, the student or the parent of the student, they get used to that random time. So now you're like stuck in this random time that you always have to go there. So I'll get into like setting boundaries soon, but that you do have to set some boundaries when it comes to when you're doing your lessons. But let's get back to those lesson packages. So I have a 3-pack and a 5-pack of lessons. For my 3-pack of lessons, I charge $199.50. And that is a 5% discount of that total price of $70 per lesson. And then I have a 5-pack lessons, which is $315, and that's 10% off that total lesson package. So the reason why I created the 3-pack and 5-pack, it's really because parents were asking me about it. But now I sell it in a way where it's just like, if someone does 5 lessons with me, that parent is going to feel, and I'm selling it to the parent, I'm not selling it to the kid. I tell the parent, once you do 5 lessons, you are going to feel very comfortable with leaving your child at the skate park, and they know exactly what to do and not to get hurt. And they know like what they're comfortable doing, what they should not be doing, what they should be doing, and they know skate park etiquette. The one thing that parents are most afraid of is just dropping their kid off and their kid getting hurt. And let's face it, kids get hurt. They do some stupid stuff at the skate park. They literally will try to drop in before they even know how to stand on their board the proper way. So they need someone to let them know like how dangerous that is, without of course them getting injured. So that's the way I sell my 5-pack lessons. You can do the same thing. I can make a lesson package, and whatever your price is, just charge 5 or 10% off. It doesn't have to be this crazy big discount. It just has to be a smaller amount. A lot of times, like especially when I started out, I would think like, oh, I need to sell this package even, like needs to be more, or it needs to be like a bigger or greater discount. But that is not the case. It just really, those lesson packages are designed to create consistency within your lesson. So you can book out like the whole month. If it's a 3-pack of lessons, you can literally, if you can book out the whole month, and that's a great way to sell it. Like you want, little Timmy gets done school at 2:30. They get to the skate park at 3 o'clock. At 3 o'clock, there's no one at the skate park yet because everyone's still like getting done school and whatnot. And that's a perfect opportunity for us to do the skate park or do the skate lesson while the skate park is empty. Boom. So we just gave 2 reasons now to do the skate park: to keep the kids safe and that no one's going to be here. And you can book that whole month out. And now you have a lesson planned, or lessons, you have some structure in your life, and the same with that parent, and that's what they want. All right, so with all this stuff, here's some tips to avoid burnout. When I started doing skate lessons, I was using Google Calendar to book the lessons and everything, and that was crazy. That led to burnout. Luckily, I had my wife to help me out in those early stages, where it was like, it really was a 2-person job to like schedule those lessons and then also sell those lessons and then teach it. And then I transitioned to Wellness Living, and Wellness Living is great. And I recommend it if you are looking to scale your company. If you're looking just to do some private lessons and get your feet wet and just see if it works, the skate lesson works, then I don't really recommend Wellness Living. However, if you're looking for something scalable and what you have is good and you want to go all in, and you want something not only just for lessons, but to do group programming and group classes, and then also a place where you can sell your merchandise, then 100% Wellness Living. I would highly recommend it. I'm going to leave the link below. And if you use my link and it's a little reference, so that, yeah, I can get a little commission out of it. That'd be awesome, and I greatly appreciate it. All right, so I'm going to give you some advice now. So there's 3 things. There is be a pro, offer add-ons, and avoid drop-ins, which I already kind of said. Be a pro. Let's talk about that. Wear a helmet. Simple as that. I know like us skaters, it kind of goes against like what we want to do, against our like freedom and the way we want to express ourselves and whatnot, but it's okay because I don't wear a helmet at all. But when I'm doing my skate lesson, I definitely do. So if you're doing a skate lesson with like the majority of people that you're doing a skate lesson with, they're going to be ages 8 to, or like age 6 to 9, 6 to 10. And most of them, their parents are going to make them wear a helmet. Already the kid feels awkward for being there. They're going to feel a little nervous meeting someone new, which is you. They're going to be nervous going to a skate park where it looks like it's just chaos and there's no rules and there's adults and there's kids and there's all this crap. And it's intimidating. If you can make that kid feel comfortable in some way, you should. And wearing a helmet is one thing, no one's wearing a helmet at the skate park. So, you put your helmet on and you go in with the kid, and that's going to make you stand out a lot. The parent is going to respect that a lot, and you're just going to stand out so much in comparison to other people who do skate lessons. I've been doing skate lessons for, I don't even know now, easily 15 years. And I'm the only one that wears. I'm actually still surprised that a lot of people do not wear helmets when they're instructing. It's not because of like what we want to do. After the lesson, my helmet goes off, but it just makes me get the part, you know, looks the part, and it shows that I care. It shows that I genuinely care about this kid and I want them to be safe. All right, so enough about wearing helmets. So bring some gear with you. Bring cones, bring skate tools, chalk, so you can like draw on the grip tape of where the feet would go. Bring an extra skateboard if you have one. Bring an extra helmet if you have one. Sometimes kids come with those Walmart helmets or Target helmets that like don't sit on their head. And when you show that you care about their safety, it shows a lot to the parent. So, and then when you have all this stuff, like the cones and all this stuff is really cheap that you can get off Amazon. Skate trainers, you can spend like 50 bucks after your first lesson and buy all this stuff and look like seriously the real deal, and your lessons are going to freaking skyrocket. This is how you're going to get those recurring lessons, and you're going to have client retention. They're going to book with you right after they do the lesson. If you just show up as is with nothing in a skateboard, yeah, you might do a lesson or two with you and stuff like that, but you got to look the part, man. You got to bring it, which is why I do all the stuff at Skate the Foundry. That's why we have the gym mats. That's why we have all this stuff. Of course, it's going to progress your skating so quickly, but it also looks just so cool and professional. We're the only ones like that have all this stuff that is around us, like in our nearby area. So that definitely helps. Like parents like, oh, this is the real deal. This is like their gymnastics that I drop them off at. So that goes a long way. So now let's get into offer add-ons. So offering add-ons, like I do home lessons, like even right now at this time, I do home lessons. I'm pretty busy because I have many things I do. I mean, I guess we're all busy, but what I do for my at-home lessons, I charge $150 and I only offer 5 lesson packages. So my home lessons are like $750 and you have to just book me. I don't go there just for a one time to see if you like it or not. But this is something that you could do. I wouldn't charge that much. I have built up over the years a lot of experience and a lot of social proof, a lot of proof on my website. I'm the owner of Skate the Foundry. So yes, I can charge a little bit more. But here's the great thing, like I only have about 2 or 3 clients. So I'm not going all over the place all the time. And when I do go to somewhere, they really value me. They value my time. They understand why they're paying so much. They're getting the best, and I'm going to be the best that I can be there. So I'm coming with extra skateboards. It's $150 per lesson. So if like they want to bring a friend or a sibling, they can with no extra charge, just one additional person. I'm bringing my helmet, extra skateboards, pads, chalk, skate trainers, skate tool, and I'm also bringing stickers. So I always like to stoke out the kids. So I'm going to bring some stickers, some skate stickers, and give them to them afterwards, after the lesson. Sometimes I go with like these little tech decks that you can get off Amazon. They're not even like tech decks. They're like fingernail boards. They're so small, but it's super fun and like kids like them. And you can buy like 100 of them for like $8. So I sometimes bring that, but those are the things that makes me able to charge a lot more and, you know, distance myself from other people that are going to pay a lot less. And also people value me and I value them. That's the main thing. It's just the value. What's the exchange in value? All right. So for you, if you want to offer a premium charge or a premium service, you can charge for a home lesson. You can do, instead of meeting at the skate park, the kid's a little intimidated or maybe not ready for the skate park or too small for the skate park, who knows? You can offer to do the lesson at home for an extra 40 bucks or something like that. You can go to their house or even $20 more. You can make up your price. So if your lesson's 45, you can say $80 and you'll go to their house to do lessons. And then also create a lesson package for their home. All right, so the next thing I wanted to say was just avoid the drop-ins. We already said this, I already mentioned this previously. Offer bundles as much as possible and always give parents a reason to come back. Now, the last thing I really want to get into is just selling your private lesson, you're selling your service, and when to do it and how to do it. So you want to sell your service before the skate lesson. This is just through an email of, hey, I'm looking forward to the skate lesson. I also want to mention that we have these lesson packages, blah, blah, blah. Here's what we'll go over. And then you're going to mention it during the skate lesson. You're going to sell during your skate lesson. And it looks more like this, actually. You're in the middle of the skate lesson and you're constantly telling your student what they're going to be doing the next lesson. And then you're trying to get an idea of what they want to learn, what they're excited about. So you're also doing a lot of networking, kind of like getting to know each other. You're building some rapport with each other. And then you're going to give them a goal. So the goal could be the drop in, the ultimate drop in. Everyone wants to drop in. So we're going to say, yo, your next lesson, little Timmy, you're going to drop in off that bank ramp over there. Oh, and the next lesson after that, then we're going to go into that quarter pipe, that one that was like shaped like that. We're going to go on there. And then we're going to go into the mini ramp. And then 5 lessons from now, we're going to take it to the half pipe. That's the ultimate goal. Now you're like already like putting in that kid's head that you're doing all these lessons. That kid's going to go to his parents and just constantly talk to his parents about doing lessons with you. You already built up that rapport. You guys got that great like chemistry going. So now you sold before, you sold during the lesson is really the most important part. And then you're going to sell after the lesson. So this is when you go and talk to the parent. You go to review everything. You chat with them about what you're going to do in the next lessons, and you share all the success that you had today. And you have to try to do everything in your power to get them to book the lesson at that moment. So if you have another lesson afterwards, make sure you have like a gap of like 15 minutes, just so you can really talk to that parent, find out what they want and need, find out their schedule to really sell the next service. You want to sell that lesson package. We're going for that 5 lesson that we talked about earlier. We have some goals already, and you're selling that. Now, the last time you want to sell is during your follow-up. During your follow-up is when you send them an email in case they didn't buy anything from you at that moment when you were teaching the lesson. A day goes by later, and this is your final time to really sell and push. At this time, I sometimes even offer a small little discount. However, I don't really like doing discounts too much unless I'm extremely desperate to fill up like a program, not a private lesson, just because I don't want people to see my service as a discounted or I'm trying to like get money off of them. I just really want them to see the value in my service. And if they don't see the value in it, then honestly, I don't really want to work with them too much. So, but the follow-up is extremely important. You still want to follow up and try and get them to do the lesson, because sometimes they just don't know the schedule. And especially if it's like a dad, the dad usually doesn't know the schedule and they have to like check with like his wife or something like that. That's really common. So do that. And then my last final bonus tip is always get videos and photos throughout the lesson, because you're going to use it as social proof on your social media and your website as you build it going into the future. Make sure that you have a media release built into your waiver. And a lot of times parents overlook the waiver, which means they overlook the media release. So just always mention to the parent before the lesson starts, hey, is it okay if I take some videos and photos during the lesson so I can use on my social media? And that is it. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, leave them below, because I would love to hear it. If there's anything that I missed or you want me to go into detail, let me know. And let me know also what you charge for your lessons and how you got into skate lessons, and you know where you're at with it. Did you grow it into programs? Do you have monthly classes or anything like that? So I hope you got a lot of value out of it. Please like and subscribe to this video. That is going to be awesome. It's going to help me out. And let's grow skateboarding together. Corey Huffman, 9036. Thank you so much for your comment. Talk to you guys later.